Hello everybody, this is Johnny S with another vlog. Today is going to be a very controversial vlog, let's say. It's going to be a topic which I had avoided discussing and talking for quite some time. I don't know what I'm going to call it, the title. It is going to involve it's going to evolve around many different social, let's say, issues which are happening. I'm not going to express any new profound sort of a thing. This is well known to everybody. Some have an opinion on one side, some have an opinion on the other side. I'm going to state my opinion and my thoughts. What's the point of doing this? We're not doing this just to do this, you know what I mean? The point is to offer a different perspective. There are many perspectives as similar to mine, and there's many opposing perspectives. Some people take part into some of these, some identify better with others, and so forth and so forth. I wanted to add to the pool of perspectives. I am going to phrase mine, which is going to be perhaps a little bit different. Each perspective of every person is a little bit different. One second. And it does not mean because a specific perspective has been phrased that somebody else should not phrase the same, oppose, support, or offer their own perspective of things. Because you are all for something, it doesn't mean that you're 100% for it. You know what I mean? You might support something but oppose something else. So I don't agree, and of course you can leave your comments in the video, and I do want to make this an interactive sort of video, even though that I see that people they don't take the time or they can't be bothered to leave a lot of comments and stuff like that. Okay. And obviously because I don't have the popularity as other channels, let's say, this might also be part of the reason why I don't get such much content when it comes to interacting with people, which is something that I'm striving for. And because the point of the channel is not to be like a well-known, super famous guy, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep it as simple as that. Also, a heads up, the language is going to be a little bit offensive to some people. If you don't like words such as fuck, such as Jesus Christ, what the fuck, then tune the fuck out. Okay? I'm giving a heads up from now. We're going to be speaking freely, and in certain circumstances when you might be a little bit upset with things, you say fuck. Okay? If you can't take that, and you know, you're like, oh, I'm offended, be offended. Be offended and get the fuck out of the channel, please. And don't fucking come back. If you're that offended, like, it's better for you and for me as well. To all the rest, do stay by, and I will try to encourage everybody to leave comments on the videos. Express your opinion in a positive way. If you don't have a way to fucking do it positively, fuck it, do it in a negative way. It's much better than not opposing something in any case. So the point of this, and there has been a lot of movement in my channel lately since I've started. It has been 7 months or something. I've made quite a few videos, and I have noticed that on the last 1 to 2 months there has been more of an engaging factors on my videos. You know what I mean? Some people will phrase their opinion more. They will say, you're a fucking idiot, what you're talking about that is wrong. Try not all these controversial issues. Try not to, how can I say, I'm not here to be your ally or your enemy. Listening to somebody speaking on a social channel is just listening to them speaking on a social channel. You know what I mean? They're expressing an opinion. Try to focus on their opinion. Try to focus on their mental state, their perspective. See whether you agree and whether you don't agree. And if you agree with something, it's not like, oh, he's fucking awesome, I love the guy. And if you don't agree with something, I'm gonna fucking kill him, cancer to his family. Don't be like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you might disagree. Say I disagree with your opinion. You know what I mean? Or you might say that opinion is fucking moronic. There's a difference between saying that and saying you're a fucking moron. You know what I mean? There's a difference. That opinion is fucking moronic. You can say it. You can be aggressive on your shit, but it's how you do it. You know what I mean? Do not be a nihilist. Don't be a fucking nihilist. Because you might have heard some of these things before, you might have heard somebody else say it, doesn't mean you don't need to hear it again. Each one of us has a unique perspective in life. You know what I mean? Not all of us are one same as the other. We all have a different perspective. Listening to a thing expressed in a different way might help you or might get you to oppose or go or support it for a different reason. And the reasoning behind this, of your logical explanation, is what the key should be to anyone watching this video. So as I said, I hope that my videos do become a lot more engaging, and this to me, I consider to be success. You know what I mean? The last 1-2 months that I had a lot of communication from different videos about bikes, about whatever, and I had comments from people. Not many comments, but I did have some comments. That to me was very nice. It was very positive, and I considered it to be successful. You know what I mean? A guy asked me, I was talking about bikes. He told me, you know, where do you service your bike? Where mechanic do you take it? I'm close to that place. Do you know anyone like that? Yeah, I know a guy there. That he used to be close to my place, but now he's moved to where you are, you know what I mean? Go on so and so street, tell him you're from John, he will remember me with R6. It's fucking engaging, it's a fucking community, you know what I mean? That to me is much more interesting. Similarly to the negative comments which are left on the channel, which again I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Somebody might say, you know, that idea is moronic, I will say to him something like, okay, but have you thought about this and this? If you support that, for example, how can you be against this? So the whole point of this video today is just try to get some ideas, some perspectives out, because I have seen, not lately, I've seen this is happening for ages now, but it was something that I tried to keep on top of my mind. So, straight off the bat, and it's going to be like social issues, there might be some politics involved, it depends how you want to do it, but I want to get a little bit a clear understanding of my approach to this so that I do not get confused. I'm not a political person. I'm not politicized, meaning that I don't follow any specific political party. And this is a reason why this is the case is because I was never into politics, you know what I mean, a lot. I never studied politics, I never knew all the neat bits and crannies, let's say, of politics and different ideologies. I have heard some of these things, but because I personally have not deep dived and delved into this process, I cannot say that I have a strong enough opinion for or against something. And if you don't have the details, let's say, and if you have not, let's say, researched enough to oppose or support something based on what you hear, is not always the best approach, because let's say your environment might be, let's say, left-leaning politics, and you might hear a lot of opinions from the left ideology, let's say. You might get influenced, and you might not realize that your environment is biased. So therefore, you supporting that ideology is affected in a biased way. Similarly, if your environment is a right-wing, let's say, environment, where you might be get influenced from that. So if you don't know and you just listen to different opinions and you haven't researched in depth the subject, you cannot be full opposing or full supporting. And the key word here is full. You can oppose something or you can support something depending on your logic. When you hear something, you can say, that makes sense to me, or that does not make sense to me, okay? But the word here is full, and this is where I want to focus, one of the focus points on the video, and one of my advice to the younger generations, the older generations, to everybody out there. Try not to fanaticize. This is really a negative thing to do. Overly fanaticize with a belief. When you overly fanaticize, you lose the balance. You lose the, how can I say, you shut your mind, you close your mind, you don't have an open mindedness, because you listen to a specific ideology, you support the ideology, you fanaticize with that ideology, and therefore you can either oppose or close off to any other ideas thoughts and so forth. I might be tapping the screen every now and then, and that's because I want to be able to see what's happening at the time. You try not to overly fanaticize with things, and this is an advice to everybody. When you hear an opinion, try not to fanaticize. Why? Because fanaticizing with something or being overly how can I say, restricted in your thought will not allow you to adapt, will not allow you to change, and everybody, every single one of us should change, evolve, and improve as time passes by. And improvement also might be changing positions. It's not a bad thing. You might be like left on some issues, and then you might go right to some issues. And I'm using the political because it's much more of a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. When you say left leaning or you say right leaning, people have a notion of what it's like to be left, people have a notion of what it is to be right. But because I don't have a political background, if you ask me what are the ideals of like conservatives, I don't know exactly. I assume that they're more conservative, what the word says. What do the liberals have in mind? I don't know, like again, because I haven't gone into in depth. If you ask me like the Greenpeace, what that party, what is it, where is it leaning, I don't know. I always try to voted in my life in Australia, in Greece, and wherever I lived, based on things that I've heard, and not try to be influenced by propaganda a lot. As much as possible, we all get influenced. We're human, you know. I mean, I'm like a fucking robot. So you are going to get tempted on some ideologies, let's say, but I try, based on what is happening on the world, based on my difficulties and my fellow humans around my area, vote accordingly. So, to give an example, in Australia, for example, there was at some point the Liberal Party, and I had voted for the Liberal Party. Why? Because at that particular instance in my life, there was I was facing a lot of economic difficulties. Not the Liberal, the Labour Party, I think it's called. I can't remember what the fuck it was, but like that's how much I have. Like I said, I'm not politicizing. I mean, the Labour Party, though, in their ideas and the way that they spoke, they were more for the working class guy, let's say. And because my circle and my challenges were mostly involving around economy at that stage of my life, it seemed a good idea to vote for those people. Now, by no means do I have any sort of like false sense that any political party is going to be the right one and that's it. I think there's good and negative things on all political parties, so I'm not for extremists, okay, extreme approaches and views. I try to be of a balance, more of a balanced person. And the reason why I'm saying this, and I advise the same for all people, whether you're going to vote, whether you're going to discuss some issues with your friends, when you're going to whatever you're going to do, whether it's a social thing, whether it's a political thing, whether it's anything, you know what I mean, any systematic thing, whatever, try to be a little bit more in the in-between. That will allow you to better discuss things, and if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to improve. Meaning, if you're going to be very all forth specific things, your ideas are not going to be able to be easily communicated, and other people's ideas are not going to be easily uptaken from your side because of that particular reason. For the reason that you're going to be more shut off, you're going to be more extreme on your approach, and that's going to come out when you speak. If you try to be in the between, let's say, you might be a little bit more flexible when it comes to speaking. And it doesn't mean because somebody opposes your idea that you either have to disprove them on the spot or you have to take them up on the spot. You can just listen to it, you can say, yes, I'm not really sure, you know what I mean, I don't have like a position on this, but you're making a good point, something like that, you know what I mean. Try not to be opposing, and if you follow this in life in general, you're going to realize that you're going to be much more less likely to take and do things that you're going to regret. One of the examples that I can give for at the moment, since we're doing the video, is we've seen a lot of news in America with Trump, the assassination attempts, the 2 assassination attempts that have happened on on Trump, and these are bad things. These are negative things. And I'm looking at the news, and I'm looking at how some people are for it, some people are against it, and I hear some extreme opinions. For example, I was watching, like, there was some street interviews done, and there was this lady, and the interviewer asks her, "What do you think about Trump's assassination?" And she turned around, she goes, "I hope he didn't miss." Now you gotta step back before you open your fucking stupid mouth and say shit like that. Even if you're opposing, and I'm not all Trump, like I'm not a Trump supporter. That's what I'm saying. I'm living in Greece. I've got nothing to do with fucking America. So just that alone should open up your fucking mind. You know what I mean? You're listening to a person that is living in Greece. We have our different political parties. It's got nothing to do with fucking America. Okay. It's got nothing to do with Trump. Okay, Trump and the way that he does some things are not the best way. Obviously, he has faults in his manner, in his character. I'm not going to vote on any one of these parties. I don't live in America. I'll say it as simple as that. But I still have an opinion. I still can express my opinion on this and possibly offer a different thing that has not been heard. You know what I mean? Because usually when you hear the news about America, you hear from people in America. You know what I mean? When you hear the news about England, in England, in most cases. To offer a perspective from someone living in Greece, grown up in Australia, been influenced by many different things, and actually offer now an opinion on a specific subject in America, it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? So what I will say, and when I heard that comment, it was fucking extreme. And the lady turned around and she says, "I don't have any bad notions in me, and I'm really sorry that I have to say this." Well, then don't say it. Don't say it. What are you fucking talking about? How can you turn around and say, "I hope they didn't miss"? For anybody. For anybody. You know what I mean? Nothing excuses you wishing death upon fucking someone. Full stop. Full stop. There's no but here. There's no but. And the fact that you've lost that full stop and that you're saying, "Yeah, but he's bad, yeah, but what?" You might have Hitler opposite to you. It's the same dilemma, you know what I mean? That thing that they say, if you went back in time and Hitler was in front of you and a baby, would you kill him in order to save all these people? You can't fucking say that you're going to do shit like that. You know what I mean? You can't fucking say, no matter what the fuck is happening. It's like Minority Report. Because you know something is going to happen, you're going to fuck somebody up. How do you fucking know? You can't have this perception in life, you know what I mean? And to take it on a religious, let's say, thing, let's say you've got the devil opposite to you, you know what I mean? And you know that he's bad. What are you gonna do? You're gonna kill him because he's the devil. You're becoming him. Another example too, and now they fucked it because of woke fucking ideology, which I'm all against. They fucked up the Star Wars universe. The Star Wars universe showed specifically that, you know what I mean? The thing between good and bad. When the emperor, the evil emperor, was saying, "Take your sword, strike me down, give in to the hate." What did he mean? He mean that. He mean if you do that action, you turn yourself over to that side. You know what I mean? So you might say, "Yeah, but I'm going to sacrifice myself in order for the future of people." You can't fucking say that. You can't say that. You can't behave that. You can't proactively behave in certain ways in order to avoid possibilities in the future. What type of mentality would you need to have to be like that? So I did not like that comment. It seemed to me extreme. The thing that the lady said, I wish they didn't miss. What the fuck are you talking about? You wish what? You wish somebody to die. That what's happening in America at the moment, and especially with Trump, the assassination, is fucking extreme, dude. It's fucking extreme. What other president have you fucking seen being shot? I mean, there have been other presidents being shot, and in Europe also, we had a lot of fucking extremes as well, communism, socialism, many fucking shit like that. And like I said again, these are just, you hear about, the old president of Russia used to be a communist, whatever. I have not really deep dived into, if you ask me, what is communism? I cannot say their ideology is based on this, and this. It's just, I've heard that fucking idiot was a communist and he fucked people up. Then you hear about another guy, he was part of the social party and he fucked people up. But on all parties you can have an extreme or non-extreme approach. So I don't know enough to actually tell you, and this is why I said it's not going to be exactly a political video, you know what I mean? It's going to be something which I'm going to reference political things just as the simple from a simple perspective of things that are happening, but I'm not going to deep dive into it. You know what I mean? So, like I said about what is happening with Trump, from an outsider, what I see and uh, what I tend to notice is that out of all the years and all the things that how America was and is during the Trump's presidency, okay, I'm going to say very simple, during the Trump's presidency, that everybody thought it was fact and everything. If you looked at the facts alone, you know, I mean, how many wars there were happening, what was the economic situation, just statistics-wise, it was the best period that America has been for a long time. And this is coming from somebody outside, an observer from the outside. It was evident. Now you might say, but he might be a racist, he might be this, he might be all about money, he might, whatever. The result still remains the same. I mean, he was one of the few presidents that was not bombing all the fucking places. And America is known for that. Is known to have an outside policy, let's say, where they get involved a lot with a lot of things all over the place. I mean, even long time ago in Serbia, and Serbians are Greek Orthodox. America used to fucking bomb the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? So in general, there's a lot of shit that has happened, and in America to the rest of the world, for somebody that is in America might not know this, we always have a little bit of a negative notion towards America. Greeks, like I said, and things because they get involved. And whenever you're talking about superpowers in the world, because they get involved with, foreign policies and shit, you will see them that they will take part in wars, they will take part in conflicts, and that gives a negative idea, you know what I mean? And if you're going to ask me, if you do not want America to be this type of superpower, what other superpower do you think will be good in the world? I don't know. At the moment, maybe America being a superpower is the best thing, you know what I mean? Or if you ask me, what about if Russia was a superpower? What do you think? Will they do the same or will they do worse? They might have been worse, you know what I mean? So out of the two, let's say, things, out of all the superpowers, maybe America is the best one. If you tell me what about a pick between America and NATO, you know what I mean? I don't know. They're all superpowers are capable of committing horrible crimes, let's say, war crimes, you know what I mean? Now, how extreme and which superpower is better than the other, I don't fucking know. I don't know, you know what I mean? You might, let's say, in a hypothetical scenario, China takes over the fucking world. If you tell me, would you think it would be better? I don't know. That might be fucking even worse. You know what I mean? If I'm going to judge from what is happening to like North, South Korea and all those places, I see that some of these communism is like fucking extreme ideologies. People are not allowed to fucking smile, laugh, joke. You know what I mean? And if you ask me, how do you see the future and how do you believe of it should be? I will say that I would like the world in general, and I'm going to state it from a non-politicized point of view now. I would like the world to have to be in balance, and to be in balance is a very difficult thing. You know what I mean? I might sound like a cookie now, but there's like because I'm a movie guy as well, and I always like the Star Wars franchise, the original, George Lucas franchise, not the Disney one. There were very good notions that were passed through these movies, and these movies and these notions and the screenwriting as Disney evolves into the woke culture and canceling shit is missing from these things. There were a lot of nice notions, you know what I mean? If you've heard the old Star Wars, they always mention things such as bring the balance in the Force, bring the balance in the Force. I'm all for that. And that is a very important thing. That ties into what we say in Greece, Parmetron Einstein, which means balance in all things is virtue. You have to find a balance. You cannot have good without the existence of bad. You can have bad without the good, but there's got to be a balance. So if you tell me, what would you consider the world to be like? I will say, in a simple world, I'm dreaming for a world that is within balance, as much balance as you can get. It's not going to be perfect. I want a world that is not overly forced in dictatorship. I want a world that is not overly on the other extreme of anarchists. I want a world that is somewhere in the between, because the answers in all our problems is always, at least based on my experience, somewhere in the between, somewhere in the gray area, somewhere where you can fine tune between this, leaning towards this side, leaning towards that side. That's why I said in the beginning I'm against extreme opinions. None of these extreme things are good. If you believe that, in my personal opinion, you gotta really wake the fuck up and like really resolve your issues. Look yourself in the fucking mirror and just take another step back and just rethink some things, you know what I mean? You cannot believe in this extreme shit, you know what I mean? And you can't say things like that woman said about Trump. You can't say things like, I wish they didn't miss. If that's the first step of saying shit like that. Second step is, you might see somebody from your opposing party on the street. You might see me on the street. What do? You take a gun and you shoot him because he's on the opposing fucking party. If you're an extremist, you will not notice it, but when you fanaticize with things like that in such a manner, you can easily go in that process of saying specific extreme things or performing specific extreme actions, which is not good. You're going to regret it. It's not going to offer any solution. You're not making the world a better party, a better world. You going back and killing a baby Hitler is not going to solve anything. It's not going to solve anything. Hitler was just a person that they put in order for him to serve the specific sort of agenda that was happening at the time. If Hitler was not there would have been another Hitler. You're not going to solve anything. Therefore, when you go back in time, don't fucking kill any babies. Whether it's Hitler or not Hitler, you fucking retard. And just me have to saying this, which is just basic logic, is tragic. It's tragic. When me talking about with some friends and me actually saying something like that, and they are like getting spooked, like what? Oh, I didn't think about it like that. That to me just shows like, Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck are you thinking about? You know what I mean? Because I have told them, you know what I mean? They were told me, you know what I mean? If you had gone back in time, wouldn't you kill baby Hitler? If you can save all these things, it's these dilemmas. 1 billion people of Jewish people and one person, what would you do? You know what I mean? Logic says you kill this guy in order to save those guys. And then when I turn back and say, then what happens if the second Hitler came out? How many babies should I have killed? When I said that to them, they were like, yeah, you're right. We didn't think about that. And then my response was, how could you not think about that? I'm not saying something smart here. I'm not like a fucking genius. I'm not like a super guru guy. You know what I mean? It's just basic, simple things. When you're going to do something, or you're going to support something or oppose something, play these scenarios in your mind before you make a decision, before you overly fanaticize with something. Same thing is happening with a different component, which is the media. That's another thing that I want to talk. There's a thing in the world called media propaganda. Okay, you have to believe, and I don't believe it is an extreme thing to say that media propaganda exists. Propaganda is basically pushing a specific agenda to accomplish a specific goal, whether that is political, social, whether it's a mentality, whether whatever it is. And that specific agenda, a goal, could serve many other purposes, whether they are political, economical, and so forth. There is propaganda, and it is used all over the place, from the long time of the wars and the subscription to war methodology that they were using on young men, to even the day-to-day. There's always propaganda, you know what I mean? And when propaganda is happening, and if you know that it exists, then you gotta realize that there is the possibility that media propaganda might be pushing different agendas, depending of what the fuck is happening. If you do believe that, you gotta be really cautious and be careful when you hear something, because it might be from a specific point of view, and you might not know that. I'm not saying that it is bad if you listen to this, but you don't know that. Just like I don't fucking know that. You know what I mean? So when you listen to things, you have to you have to take them in with a salt of grain, sort of speaking. You have to take them in with a little bit being cautious. You have to say, is it really like that? Or because media is known to try to push certain things, or are they trying to push something now? And why did they turn around and said this? You know what I mean? Like, for so many years they said it's good to drink cereal in the morning. Now they turned around and said cereal is not good for you in the morning, it's bad for your health. When you hear shit like that, you gotta listen and say, is it because of technology that is evolving? Did they learn something new? Or are they just trying to market or not to market something? You know what I mean? You gotta really put that question when you hear something, especially when it's from media, especially from TV, from television, from all these channels and the pushing the things. Again, listening to something, a piece of news, a piece of something, and then fanaticizing is wrong. It's something that I will say, do not do it. You know what I mean? Don't. You might see the war with Russia and Ukraine. You might see a bad image on the TV, and you might see Russia bombing Ukraine, and then you get upset and it's like, ah, fuck Russians, I hope they die. Don't fanaticize with something. I understand that you get influenced. Everybody does get influenced. When you see people dying, no matter where the fuck they're from, it's bad. So then that bad feeling might get you to respond in an extreme way. Don't do that. You're not gonna solve something like with one bad action with another bad action. You know what I mean? Because they bomb these guys, you gotta go and fucking kill those guys. Like, no, stop fucking killing. Period. And that could be Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, Palestine, and like I said, because I have no deep dive into this, I cannot offer my opinion. The only thing that I can offer, I will advise everybody to have a kind of an opinion which is going to be not two wrongs make a right. Okay, don't be extreme on your opinion. And this goes for everything, including media propaganda. And when I say media, I'm talking about mass media, which is like TVs and everything. Because you hear something there, don't listen to that one alone. That can also play a role when it comes to the COVID pandemic. The COVID pandemic, when it first came out, you heard the TV, you heard people that were overtly spreading fear to a point where it was tragic. It was way too much, way too much. And at the beginning, because like I said, you have to take everything with a bit of a question mark when you listen to something, I was skeptical. I'm always skeptical, and it's not bad to be skeptical, but I was also simultaneously afraid. There's a pandemic, COVID came, we used to go to the shopping center, we used to get our products, we used to wear masks, I used to rub down the paper bags and the plastic bags, so I had gone through that process, but slowly I started seeing that it was not a pandemic that I was saying. People were not dropping like flies, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. There were people that were going in hospitals that were sick, usually older people, but it was not to the extreme that they take it. And whoever is all for these type of extreme ideologies, when a pandemic has passed, we have a saying in Greece where "Ό,τι δεν φτάνει αλλά που το κάνει κρεμαστάρι," which means they act as if they never were extreme. If you had taken an extreme opinion, then you took an extreme opinion. At some point in your life, you do have to fucking apologize. You know what I mean? I'm not all for extreme, whether you're on this way or that way. And the people that were against, let's say, the COVID, they were less extreme. Their ideology was, I don't believe that I should take the vaccination and just leave me alone, please. The other people that were saying that no, you're fucking animals, you gotta be forced for the vaccination, for the greater good, for this, that's an extreme fucking idea. You gotta realize in your life when you're taking an extreme idea, you know what I mean? If you don't realize that, then you're really easily going to say things or do things which you're going to regret. You know what I mean? In my specific case, I was not all for the vaccination. You know what I mean? I was not all for it based on my, let's say, what do you call it? Based on my medical background, the things that I had no danger, no respiratory problems, nothing like that. Therefore, I considered it to be less of a danger to me. Simple as that. I did not try to overly force this on others, and what I disliked was people trying to force this on me. So when you take an extreme approach, and you might turn around someone and say, you're an anti-vaccine guy and all that, and then it's been proved that the vaccines did shit. I'm sorry about it, but everybody knows that now. I mean, even people that have vaccinated, and friends and people that have, it's like, yeah, they didn't do nothing. How can you turn around and say it in such an easy manner that, yeah, they didn't do nothing? But back then, you were so extreme. You know, I mean, you were in the extreme sense of saying that, somebody not taking the vaccine is basically causing the world a harm because you're narcissistic and you don't give a fuck about it. How can you take that position and now turn around and say, yeah, they didn't do nothing? So who the fuck is in the wrong? And who's in the right? You know what I mean? And you gotta give credit where credit is due. As anti-vaccinators, let's say, and I put myself into that as well. And that's why I said this video is a little bit, I was avoiding to do it, but I did want to do it at some point. We never forced our shit on other people's. We were the ones that were actually forced. We are the ones that faced being fired from our jobs. We faced difficult things. We faced many, many things. Even to me, at some point, I went to my wife and I told her, should I just do it? Should I just do it to make things easier for us? Let me sacrifice myself as a lamb, you know what I mean, for the family. And she turned around, she said to me something which was very, got me thinking. She goes, okay, let's say you do it and something happens which we are not sure if it's gonna happen. What am I gonna fucking do? What are you gonna sacrifice for yourself to leave me by myself with a fucking kid? And I thought about it and I said, yeah, you've got a point. So you gotta talk about these things. Even me being anti-vaccine was not like an extreme opinion from the beginning. Everybody that has a vaccine is a fucking idiot. No, I never said that. I was always in the middle. And in life general, my approach is always in the middle. You will never hear me talk with somebody and say, you're a fucking idiot for that. No, I'm always thinking about what they're saying and I'm always like in between. Like I said, I was almost to the point of, let me fucking take it. I know that there's a risk factor. I don't have that fear that media propaganda is pushing. I saw a lot of my friends that were really scared, you know, and I told them, but guys, it doesn't seem to be like, you know, people are not dropping like flies here. It is dangerous, okay, but across all the years there's been many like illnesses and people have lost their lives in a mass manner. I don't see this being any different than that. Why? Like, to me, I was just asking them, why are you going to that extreme sort of thing? Why are you so afraid? And many of my friends were used to come back and go said, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, John, you might be right, but what can I say? You know, I mean, I'm really fucking afraid. I'm gonna fucking do it. And they rush to do it. On some of these guys, I told them, okay, I understand that, you know, just like I'm afraid to do it, you're afraid not to do it because you're fearing the virus and what can happen to you and stuff. Okay, it's just none of us is on the wrong. And I told him like there was a specific guy that I told him, I go to him, how about you just wait a little bit, at least don't be the first. He goes, no, I gotta fucking do it. And he was like one of the first that he went, and he got the jobs, he got everything. What has happened to him now? I'd rather not talk about it because many people might see the video, but he does have a health condition. Is that health condition related to that? Maybe yes, maybe not. Is it not? Maybe yes, maybe no. And there's no one person. There has been many circumstances as such that I have seen them. And my point now is not to go back to those people and it's like, haha, I told you were wrong. No, that's not the fucking point. On this point, you just don't fucking speak. You don't say nothing. You know what I mean? But I have seen some, not a lot, but some of friends, 4 of my friends, okay, that have done this, they rushed, and now they have medical conditions, whether it's a heart thing, anyway, I don't want to go into detail. They have medical conditions, okay, neurological. Another guy had like not Parkinson, but he's got a tic. And out of all these guys, to not a single one have I gone up and said, look at you now. It makes me sad. And me talking to those people when the pandemic was hitting us and saying, maybe you should not be the first one to get it. In what way is that bad? In what way, like I was just thinking for their well-being. And them saying to me that I think you should get it is also them thinking about my well-being. Like, dude, you might die because they were scared of COVID. You know what I mean? But it all boils down to the same thing. That's why I wanted to make this video and keep it general. I did not want to make a video and have like talk about politics and Trump and Biden, what's going on. I didn't want to have another video and talk about fucking COVID. I don't want to. That's not the fucking point. You know what I mean? In life, many shit like that will happen. I wanted to make one goddamn fucking video. It might be a little bit long, but I just want to express my things because I see these patterns. And in life, most of the things are patterns. There are patterns. You see them play out again and again in different scenarios. Whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a politic, whether it's JF Kennedy assassination, Trump assassination, whatever fucking assassination, whether it's a war, whether it was Hitler, when it was this, you just see the same fucking thing. History replays. And the common denominators in all this that I see and I wanted to advise for people is fanaticism, extreme approaches. You see people were doing things in the past, like on 19 something, and you think to yourself, how did they put themselves in the position to do it? And then you think to yourself, yeah, I understand, because I see people wishing Trump to be dead. Like, you realize there's a fine line between having an extreme opinion that you should never have, and between being normal on your opinions. You know what I mean? Now the pandemic is over, but because a lot of people have this type of extreme approach, I'm afraid, and I wish and I hope I'm wrong, that if another pandemic comes, we're going to have the same thing, and possibly even worse, because those people that were for it might already kind of have lived through people not wanting to do it, and they might come down even harder, which is going to infringe upon personal freedoms and rights, like your body autonomy right. There's a lot of shit like that, you know what I mean? And when you think to yourself, let's say doing something is, or not doing something is the right or the wrong thing, in all these manners and in all these, how can I say, decisions that you make in your life, an important factor is to be able, is for you to be able to make these decisions. You know what I mean? Let's say you made a decision and somebody told you that if you vote for that party, everything is going to be good, and you did it, and it was not good. The worst thing in your mind is not that you voted for that party, okay? It was that you were influenced to vote for that party without you actually wanting to vote, if that was the case, you know what I mean? So in such circumstances, a big regret that people might have, and I will advise against it, is to make choices in your life that are that you don't have full ownership. You have to have full ownership. You gotta be sure about something. And if you do take that decision, then you have to face the consequences without throwing blame on anybody else. Yes, it was me that took that decision to get a vaccine, to vote for this guy, to vote for that, to make this change, to bill for this, to support that, to oppose that. It was me that did it. If you're not sure, then you're best off not being extreme and supporting extreme things, because you might regret it. And that's the only thing and the only advice that I have for people when they approach things. Now, as far as the media propagation goes, I would say try to filter and put a question mark next to anything that you hear. Make up your own mind and try to make your mind up in an unbiased sort of manner. Try to make up your mind by listening to different opinions. Even there's so much like facts and false things in the internet that is very difficult for you to know specifically whether something is true or not true. And there's only one truth. It's not your truth, my truth, everybody's truth. You know, truth is not subjective. There's just truth, you know what I mean? If something happens, it either happened or it didn't happen, you know what I mean? If somebody started a war and he threw the first bomb, whoever threw the fucking first bomb is the guy that started the fucking war. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. It's not, you know, it's not half green, half red. It is either that or it is that. If you don't know that though, then you cannot make up your mind. So therefore, in those circumstances, you're better off having sort of a more neutral approach and an opinion when you come face to face with another person that might be more has a stronger opinion on something. You might say, how can you not support, you know, Ukraine? Or how can you be all against Russia when Russia, I don't fucking know, whatever it is. And then you might turn around and say to him, because I really don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck is happening. There's a lot of economical things behind, there's a lot of benefits, and people pushing specific agendas. Everybody's trying to, let's say, cover their own things. And whether things are happening for what they seem to be happening is not the same thing as what the truth behind the matter is. Even if I don't know that, then I'm not going to overly fanaticize with one thing. I've seen people go extreme in both ways. I've seen people in the Ukraine war say things such as like, fucking Ukrainians, it was the drug lords and shit, now fucking, they're all fucking idiots. That's fucking bad to say, dude. How can you fucking put everybody in one fucking thing and say something bad because you heard something? You know what I mean? Simultaneously, I heard other people say, "Oh, fucking poor Ukrainians." They were sending shit. You know, what I mean, they were sending things, and it's good that our government is sending ammunition and that. And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not a good thing that our government in Greece was fucking supporting Ukraine. You know what I mean, it's not a good thing that he's sending ammunition. You're sending fucking ammunition. You send clothes, you send supplies. Yes, I understand that. That's good, but you don't fucking send ammunition. You're sending ammunition. You're putting yourself. You're aligning with specific things because of NATO, because of this, because of that. Try to be neutral. And okay, politicians and socialism and parties like as such, they do have to take a sort of like a position, let's say. But if I was a politician, for example, I would try to support people in need without causing harm to others. Me, to send a bomb to someone, he's going to throw it on someone else. Why would I, as a politician, if I was the president, why would I do that? I would try to minimize the thing. Send food, send supplies, medical supplies, allow people to come in. Not like in America where there's no borders now, you know what I mean? Like in a specific, proper way. Try to do positive things to mitigate a bad situation. If there's a war happening, the solution is not for you. And if I was like the president of America, I was a superpower, what would I do? Start fucking bombing Russia and fuck her up? This is a fucking solution, man. There's fucking people there as well. You know what I mean? And in most cases, there's a conflict happening, but usually the people that pay for this are people that have nothing to do with it. Just normal, everyday people. Ukrainians, Russians, like what the fuck? I had seen another video on YouTube, and this guy was talking about the relationship of Ukrainians and Russians and how mixed they are. You know what I mean? A lot of people have like a Ukrainian mother and a Russian father, Russian mother or Ukrainian mother. They have been mixed for ages, and those people are like left in the middle. They have their one side which is fucking getting fucked on and ganging up, and the other side that's ganging up on this side, and they're left in the middle because they're part of both worlds. So not everything is clear cut. You know what I mean? Not everything is like, all for this or all for that. No, fucking leave a gray area. Be a little bit in your ideas and how you support these things, and don't take extreme positions in your life general, wherever it is something that is political, social, whatever. Similar things is also happening with another thing which has been very popular lately, which is the whole sexualism and the gender theory and all that. Again, I'm not all for or I'm not all against that. There are people that are facing specific issues, specific things in their life. Now, do I consider those things to be normal? No. But because I'm viewing something as not being normal, it doesn't mean that you have to change my fucking opinion. I'm viewing it from my perspective, you know what I mean? Which is going to influence my sort of understanding, you know what I mean? It's like, how can I say it? When I see a boy, okay, I never had the sexual arousal of seeing a boy. Therefore, that feeling to me doesn't exist. So, how can I fully understand what a gay person or a transsexual person, whatever the fuck, I don't even know the titles. And I don't know the titles because I'm not part of that circle. Therefore, it's only normal for me not to learn those titles. And I don't care about these titles. So it's not people saying that, you gotta learn, educate yourself. Educate myself on what? On what exactly a gay and a lesbian and all this, I don't know, they're fucking titles, you know what I mean? But because I have not felt that feeling is not part of me, therefore I cannot fully associate with these people. Therefore, my approach is always going to be biased towards the opposing side. But that does not mean that you have to change my belief or that I have to change your belief. You believe what you want to believe, and I'll believe whatever I believe. This is what freedom is all about. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought. You have specific preferences and we have specific preferences. Me preferring women does not mean that I'm a homophobe. I'm sorry about this. There's a lot of, there's like a trend where they put the word phobe, which is a Greek word coming from phobos meaning fear, and they put it next to every single single fucking word. Homophobe, transphobe, this phobe. No, it's not fear that I'm feeling. Uncertainty or me not being able to familiarize with these feelings that some people have is not a phobia. It's not a phobia, it's just me not knowing and not sympathizing, and I will never be able to fully sympathize unless I am it. That's just fucking simple logic. So you cannot expect me to always see it through your eyes, you know what I mean? A lot of trends has happened now about how I identify this, identify as a he, her, they, them, that. What the fuck is that? Why you gotta dictate law? You should not force and dictate how people fucking speak. What has it got to do with you? You should not be looking for an outside parameter to validate yourself. You should always feel comfortable with yourself and how you feel. And if you're not comfortable 100%, and if you think that maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm this, that's just an indication to you that maybe you need to rethink this. If you ask me what do I personally believe, is I believe that there's a specific anomaly. I'm going to state specific words that to some people might not be, thought as, and that's why I said like I was skeptical doing this video. But I will say that to me it seems as an anomaly, and it's only normal for me to see him as an anomaly. Now, whether an anomaly exists or an anomaly doesn't exist, and there's a lot of people in discussions that I had which will tell me, what do you consider to be normal, or how can you say that this is normal, how can you say that, and you've got a specific agenda in your mind, and that's your baseline, and you can't compare people based on your baseline. I understand all that, yeah, but to me, at least, because I do have a baseline, that seems to be an anomaly. Now, what do you do an anomaly? You don't fucking kill it, you don't oppose it, you don't hit it, you don't belt it, you simultaneously you don't adopt it, you don't see it, you don't need to fully agree with it, fully understand it, be it, support gay pride, yeah, go. No, do whatever the fuck you want to do, and I'll do whatever the fuck you do, as long as you don't impose your shit on others. There's an extreme from this side and there's extremists from this side. Find the fucking balance in between. Long time ago, fucking gays, transsexuals, whatever the fuck they used to be frowned upon. They used to be sometimes meet with aggression, with violence. That's not the fucking solution. On these days now, then you have to adopt it. If you don't adopt it, you're a phobe, a homophobe, a transphobe. Then you gotta speak a specific way. That's fucking extreme as well. You can't be overly this way, and you can't be overly that way. And because certain people have faced challenges in the past, it doesn't mean that for them to make it right, they gotta bring it on this side. That's not how you balance shit out, I mean? It's not like you killed my dad and I'm going to vendetta and kill your fucking family, now we're even. That is not the fucking way to do it, guys. Wake the fuck up. This was a bad thing and that was a fucking bad thing. Stop doing that shit, you know what I mean? Stop doing that and come here. You don't have to go like this and then go back here. No, it's not like an equilibrium. It's not a pendulum. I mean, just fucking stay here. Stay here. Be respectful. I mean, I had many friends which were gay, lesbians, and I knew about it, and I had many of those friends speak bad to me. Speak fucking bad to me when I had said nothing bad to them, and I knew it because I had forgot that I know them. I had a specific friend for many years and she was a lesbian. I had seen her on the fucking train station with her girl kissing. I had no fucking problem and we were just chatting and stuff. At some point she forgot that I had seen her and she was lying to me. She goes, yeah, my boyfriend's like that. I go to her, what boyfriend? You mean so and so? No, what are you talking about? She had forgot that I had seen her. And then she became aggressive to me. And with what right are you talking about? And you're saying this and that. How do you know? I've never told you something. I was about to say, and I was speechless. I was just sitting there listening to like, what the fuck? I was about to say to her, did you forget we're together in the train? And I met your girl and I had no fucking problem. So, but because she had this mentality of the world is against me, she attacked me. She attacked me straight away. I had nothing fucking against her. And then I didn't say nothing. I just thought to myself, it's not worth fighting against. She felt bad. She felt like I was one of these guys opposing, and I thought, fuck it, leave it. So I wanted to sort of end the video in more of a positive notion. It is a controversial topic. It is a controversial sort of thing. I was thinking of doing it or not doing it, and the only reason why I was against doing this video was because I see that people are like I've said previously, becoming extreme in their opinions, and I not out of fear, but just like my point here is not to bring, let's say, create negative feelings and get people opposed to me or people to support me. It's just to be able to phrase, express yourself. And one of the thoughts is in my mind is, why should I not do the video? You know what I mean? Should I not do it because that some people might go crazy and they might take it to extremes? That was one of the thoughts. But I thought, if you're going to allow this feeling to take up on your thing and dictate whether you're going to do something or not do something, if you feel like expressing something, you should have the freedom to say it. You know what I mean? So, like I've mentioned previously, and to everybody, I will advise, I will suggest, one moment. I've been speaking for quite some time now. My throat is getting dry. I will advise, for all these type of topics, learn to be civil, learn to be acceptable of other people without opposing your things onto them. Having a balanced mentality and approach in your life is going to allow you not to overly fanaticize with specific sides, whether it's political, whether it's whatever. Try not to be overly sensitive. This is offensive, that's offensive, this is hate speech. Don't talk about these people like that. Don't say this, don't say that. Say this or don't say that. Don't try to pose things. Don't try to, another thing, don't try to get sort of validation from outside parameters. Try to be confident in yourself, whether you're a gay person, a transgender person, whatever it is. You don't need anybody to validate you. You are what you are. You feel comfortable with that, and you've made your decision. Whether my opinion is for or against should play no role in your life. I am not going to speak bad to you. I'm not going to treat you bad. I'm not going to cause any harm on you or throw any type of violence, whether it's verbal or anything, to you. We can be friends, we can live all together. Simultaneously, you should not try to enforce your ideology on me, and you're not going to be able to sort of make people behave in specific ways in order to feed your personal sort of agenda. That is not the right way to go about it. So I will say, based on all the topics that I've mentioned COVID, I've mentioned politics, I've mentioned Trump, I've mentioned the elections that are happening, I've mentioned gay, transsexual, I've mentioned all these things. Try not to label people straight away. Try to be an open mind, okay? Try to understand. And this goes for everybody out there, including myself. And try not to over exaggerate when it comes to doing something, saying something, because you're going to regret it. If you're going to have an extreme ideology and approach in your life, you're going to regret things. And before you do something which you're going to be like really regret it, bring harm to someone, hit someone, end someone's life, don't do that. Because some things you can't take back. Some things you can't take back. You gotta be civil. We can all live together. Different cultures, different traditions, different people, different genders, different. You know what I mean? We're all here to love each other, support each other, and go through the different difficulties that each one of us will face in a unique way. You don't have to make, let's say, 300 million genders, because every single one of every one person is going to feel and have a different sort of like a sexual thing. No, you don't have to do it like that, and you don't have to put everything in one bag. You know what I mean? You gotta find the balance. You can't be too much like that, you can't be too much like this. So this is just my advice. I know it's a controversial video. I don't, like I said, mean to do it in order to get people opposed and then create sort of conflict. I'm doing it to possibly put an idea in your minds of how to be more neutral in life, without that meaning that you don't have an opinion, without that meaning that you can phrase your opinion. Don't be scared, don't be afraid. Anyway, This is just what I thought. I hope you liked the video. I think I'll see if I'll upload or anything. I'm testing new things. We got a background which is like a more darkish, gloomish background. I don't know if it suits the whole thing, but I really like the background. It's like a Star Wars, you remind me of something like that. Anyway, I thank everyone very much for your time. I hope you have a great, awesome day. And going forward, I hope that you think about some of these things and sort of self-evaluate, let's say, your decisions and how you approach things in life. Thank you very, very much. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll bid you goodbye. Bye bye.